It's not over. It's not over at all. But the Warriors are committing so many self-inflicted wounds right now in terms of style of play, recklessness, fouling. I know their fan base, me and Fanucci included, I mean, we love this team, but they're fouling. This is not where they're getting screwed. The officials are hosing them. No, they're fouling. They're undisciplined and they're fouling. And that's a problem because the Lakers go to the line and make free throws. And then everyone's saying, well, look at the free throw differential. Yeah, because if you're going to shoot 53s a game, you're not driving to the basket. You're not getting fouled. So I think the Warriors last night that hurt. That was a bad loss because they controlled that game. They should have won that game.
Gave it away.
They gave that thing away. You know, they missed a lot of open shots. That thing should have been a 15-point game by the time it got to crunch time. They just missed a lot of shots. And when they were up 12, they had control of that game. And the start of the fourth quarter, a few bad shots, a turnover. I mean, DiVincenzo kind of just throwing the ball. I mean, you can't do that. You can't commit those types of turnovers in the playoffs. And the last 2 minutes to me were just mind-bogglingly frustrating. The two shots that Klay Thompson took were so bad. And I know that the Warriors are so used to playing fast and loose. When they were starting their dynasty in 15, 16, 17, 18 with Durant, they could take shots like that because they had a huge margin for error. They don't have that margin for error. They can't do that kind of stuff. And Klay Thompson knows better. A fadeaway 29-footer with 15 seconds on the shot clock in a 1-point game with 1:40 to go. That's the best shot you can get. I mean, and then Jordan Poole is nauseating right now. Every time he's on the floor, it's horrible. Curry was amazing. I loved Gary Payton in the lineup. I think they should stay small. Anthony Davis is having a difficult time with that pick and roll. I also am. I believe this. I believe the Lakers are exhausted. I think LeBron and Davis are exhausted. I mean, if they don't have the kid come off the bench, Lonnie Walker last night, they lose. So yeah. the Warriors are in it, Fanucci. They're still in it, but these mistakes, these turnovers, these bad shots in critical moments, no, they won't win this thing if they keep doing that.
Here's where I'm at. Do I wish the series was 2-2 instead of 1-3? Absolutely. Didn't like last night's game 4 at all. A couple of thoughts I'm good with games 1 and 2. I mean, we split at home. We won the second game. We go down to LA. We needed one of those 2 games. Should have gotten last night's game. Should be 2-2. Now, couple of problems. Our road efficiency this year has been horrendous. And it showed up in LA. Didn't play really well. Couldn't win games. We needed to down there in LA. Secondly, do I wish it was 2-2? Sure. But I'm looking at this scenario, and I texted you this earlier, Baca, and I like the opportunity. Because here's why. We're down 3-1 to Mr. James. And what is the one series that, as Warriors fans, that we regret the most, or we should have won and got a world championship stolen from us almost? A 3-1 lead against the Cavs and Mr. James in the finals on the season we had the greatest win total in NBA history, right? So, you know what I see it? What an unbelievable opportunity for a little payback to have him up 3-1 on us. And at the end of the day, the only 2 things that can happen are we lose the series, is what it is, season's over, or we get a nice little payback and eliminate Mr. James with 3 straight dubs. I love that opportunity because we go home now. We're going to spit all over them in game 5, and we're going to hammer them. Then if you go down there and steal game 6, now it's all on them.
It was a lot more difficult what Cleveland did in 2016 because they had to win 2 road games.
Right.
But I mean, not to rehash history, but Draymond was suspended for game 5 and Bogut was hurt. And those were 2 huge things. And Curry was still banged up from twisting the knee in Houston.
I understand.
And
but
he
at
didn't
the
play
end of the
well.
day, we still should have won that series.
Still should have won the series.
And they stole it from us. And that's fine. And I'm not worried about the circumstances from back then. All I really want at the end of the day is a little payback for LeBron and Steph to have that on him again. Look, these are the 2 biggest superstars in the game. I don't care who's MVP, Embiid, or the Joker or whatever. These are the 2 guys, worldwide superstars, going head to head. I don't know how you compare what the comparison of the 2 in their careers right now, because they're not over. I think you have to wait until it's all over to see what each one of them did. I know we're going to be partial. Steph's the greatest shooter in history. LeBron's the most a great scorer. He has the most points ever scored. Great player. Lots of arguments back and forth, but head to head, I'd have to look. I don't know the numbers direct, but I know we did beat them a couple times in the finals, but they got us too. And I just like the fact that we can go back and get one back on them.
I think the Warriors are going to win in game 5. We really need game 6 Clay to show up badly.
Game 6 Clay.
Game 6 Clay. He's always a big game 6 guy.
Need Jordan Poole to show up.
I don't want Jordan Poole. Honestly, I don't want Jordan Poole to show up. I want him to sit his ass on the bench. I don't want him in the game. I'm sick of watching. I am sick of watching it. I'm sick of watching Jordan Poole play. I am sick of it. I'm sick of the bad shots. I'm sick of the turnovers. I'm sick of the decision making. I'm sick of the out of control. I'm sick of him being a sieve defensively. He can't stop anybody. He can't stop a soul. I want him gone. I mean, I'm done. I'm done with Jordan Poole.
Contract is a major problem too.
And I mean, this was for another segment. I mean,
well, I'm talking about you need him to show up in the next game.
No,
I'm talking about for the yes, you do.
No.
How did that work out in the last game?
Gary
Payton, the guy for most of the game.
No, Gary Payton should have played in the 4th quarter. Gary Payton is exactly what we need. He's a slasher. He's a defender. He'll go up against Anthony Davis. Jordan Poole can't defend anybody. He's a cardboard cutout defensively. I'm sick of watching him. I can't watch him anymore. Every time he came in the game, the Warriors had an 8 to 12 point lead, and every time he left, that thing was competitive again.
Lakers limited Warriors 17 points in that 4th, man.
He's a disaster. He is an absolute unmitigated disaster, Jordan Poole, this postseason.
Yeah.
And then after the game, they ask him what's wrong. He goes, I'm just not getting any opportunities. Screw that guy. He does not take any, he takes no accountability. He doesn't take any responsibility for how crappy he's playing right now. And if you can't tell that I'm pissed off at Jordan Poole and his lack of production and his lack of accountability, I'm sick of Jordan Poole. Sick of him.
Wow.
I'm sick of him.
I didn't hear.
Well, Baca, at the end of the day, you think we come back and win this thing, or you? I mean, you got to be faithful, but do you feel it in your heart that or are we really gonna?
If I think we win game 5. If this goes to 7, we win it. The Lakers better not have this thing go 7, because then I think the Austin Reeves, the Lonnie Walkers, the D'Angelo Russells, I think they get tight. They'll get so tight in that 7th game. And I think the 7th game, it's a tired LeBron and AD against Steph and Clay and Draymond and those guys who've been there before. But we got to win. You got to get this thing to 6 and just absolutely play a clean game, like less than 10 turnovers, no shoddy mistakes, no Jordan Poole on the floor, period. Not on the floor. Yeah. Matt's like, hey, Matt, we'll trade you Jordan Poole for Mitchell Robinson.
No. There's a New York Post writer that's trying to get rid of Mitch, an injured Mitch right now. That's ridiculous. No,
I like Mitchell Robinson. He could be great on the Warriors, man. We need a rim protector.
I'm just
juggernaut.
I don't watch every minute of the NBA playoffs of the other games. I kind of keep it on in the background and I see what's going on. And as I'm doing life, uh, I don't understand.
Saying we don't have a life.
No, I mean you do, but I don't understand. I'm not understanding without Hero.
Mhm.
How is Miami winning this series?
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler's one guy.
Jimmy Butler is one guy that has ran the Miami Heat through the knockout or the play-in round.
We got three guys and can't
Listen,
beat
these
the
guys went to
Lakers.
the finals last year. The Miami Heat went to the finals last year in late in the season and in the midseason and late season. They had some knocks that didn't go their
Wait
way.
a second.
Injuries.
The Heat were in the NBA Finals last
No,
year.
in Eastern Conference
Eastern
Finals.
Conference Finals.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. It was
This is-
Warriors Celtics.
This is the exact same team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. They were just
They don't have Hero playing.
banged up, and they still are banged up. Yes, Jimmy Butler is the reason the Miami Heat are playing so well.
Didn't they barely win a play-in game?
They won
They
that.
lost. They lost their first play-in game, had to win the second one.
Yeah, they're like the Lakers right now, man. They're not giving up home.
Are,
They're
are they an
sitting on
eighth
their
seed?
home court right now, and
Baka,
they're running.
that's what the talking point to me is. Isn't Miami an 8 seed?
Right. And what I'm telling you though is they are the same team. They're like the Warriors right now. They were the same team that went to the Eastern Conference Finals. They just got banged up. And
Okay.
down the stretch, the Knicks beat the Heat down the stretch. When we were making our number 5 seed run, we mowed through the top teams in the East, including the Miami Heat. That's why everybody went into this playoffs so confident and so sure. And everybody kind of overlooked the fact that, oh, they got beat by the Celtics last year, but that's it. That's it.
Matt,
I got another question. Go ahead.
No, I want to ask Matt about the Knicks. I want to ask you about the Knicks. I have a question about the Knicks because there's discussion with NBA circles and the so-called experts that say, well, you can't offensively. They've been limited all season long, especially Julius Randle is good. He's good, but he's off. He's inconsistent. And offensively, they just haven't. It's been Jalen Brunson and then just certain guys stepping up. Is there a toughness question? Because I did not like how Julius Randle answered the question last night. What is wrong? What's happening? And he said, well, maybe they just want it more than we do. That is a horrible answer.
Well, he's not a good team player. He's never been he's not a good team player. He's always been a powder. There were issues with he and RJ getting the ball, him not getting the ball. He's not a good team guy. That's the bottom line. Now he was when he was averaging 30 points a game and he wanted that all-star bid. That was fantastic. And we made a run and he was Iron Man for a long time. He played every game until he got injured here right before the playoffs. So he's not a good team player. He took a swipe at Emmanuel Quickly. You'll remember as we were making this playoff run, just because Emmanuel Quickly was trying to say, hey, dude, you don't need another T. We don't need to lose this game. You don't take a swipe at your point guard. He's just a bad team player. He's always been that way. He's a poor sport. That's what he is.
Can they come back? Do you think?
Do you have the Knicks win it? They're down 3-1, Matt.
They should win this next game, I'm assuming, just because it's at Madison Square Garden. But they gotta, I don't know, they gotta dig deep. They're getting outscored. I think in the third quarter of that last game, which the officiating was horrendous. I mean, I will never blame a game on officiating, and I won't blame that on that game. But when you shoot 70% in a quarter and they still increase the lead, I mean, fuck off. That is not right. So, but they got to do something in the paint. Hartenstein's got to step up. Obi Toppin's got to step up. Miles McBride has to step up. I mean, and dude, if we get desperate, you might see like a Derrick Rose come into the game, a guy that, maybe knows what to do when you're down 3-1, come on the floor and set the pace. Who knows?